Okay, B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh Masech. Just to review, we're on page 18 right now, Daf Chai, but we're going to review what were we talking about here. We're talking about somebody that's a onen. It says he should go eat in another house or his friend's house, or at least make a partition and not eat right in front of the person that he needs to bury, his close relative that is just deceased. And the last line of the previous daf says, he's not allowed to, like we lean on Passover, on Pesach. This is a very hurtful and tragic time. So you obviously don't do heseba, and you don't eat meat and wine. You do not say any blessings, because we said the onen is absolved from doing all the mitzvos. And we cannot count him for zimun either, for the three people to say nevarech sha'achalnu mishalo. Ve'en mezamnin alav, like we said, he can't. Neither he needs to ask people to come eat with him. Like on Tisha B'Av, we eat Sudam Hafseket by ourselves. There's no zimun. And we can't count him part of our zimun. Upatur mikriyat shema min ha-tefillah min ha-tefillin mikol mitzvot ha-amor b'Torah. He's absolved from doing shema, praying, putting tefillin, and all the mitzvahs of the Torah. And it says on Shabbat, third line of the Gemara says, "B'Shabbat mesiv ve'ochel basar v'shoteh yain v'varech v'mezayin v'varachin alav v'zanin alav v'chayav b'chol mitzvot ha-amor b'Torah." Shabbat, we know that there is no grief. We can't do mourning on Shabbat. That's why on Shabbat he can have meat and wine, and he makes all the blessings, and they count him part of the zimun. And he makes bracha with the zimun, and he is chayav bechol ha-mitzvot hamurat b'Torah. He's obligated to do all the mitzvahs of the Torah. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel omer mitoch shin chayav be'elin chayav b'kulam. Shimon ben Gamliel says, since he has to do these, he has to do everything. What is he arguing? Eka benayu Amar Rabbi Yochanan, my benayu. What's the difference between them? Tashmish amita, which means the halacha actually is that a mourner during the first 7 days, he has to do avulut b'sin'ah. Private signs of mourning he does have to keep, so therefore he cannot be close with his wife. But Rabbi Gamliel holds you are allowed to, because once there's no more mourning, even in private, you don't have to have any symbols and signs of laws of mourning. So tashmish amitaka benayu ktani miut patur mikriyat shema min ha-tefillah min ha-tefillin mikol mitzvot ha-amor b'Torah. But it's a contradiction, because here it says he's totally absolved from all the mitzvahs. So Rav Ashi explains Targuma machser panav v'oichel. Rav Papa explains that so Rav Papa's understanding is that the only time that you're absolved, the onen is absolved from making any blessings and keeping all the commandments, is when he's literally in front of the dead person. But once he goes to another house, he has to do all the mitzvos and make a bracha. But that's not the halacha. The halacha follows Rav Ashi, which says, Kevan shemutal alav lekovro kemutal lefanav dami. Once it's incumbent upon you to quickly and swiftly bury your relative, by default, it's just like Abraham. It doesn't literally need to be in front of you, but figuratively, it's incumbent upon you to have this person buried. So therefore, in such a case, this is the halacha. You do not need to do any of the mitzvot of the Torah, because you're onen. So Rav Ashi Amar Kevan Shemutal, and we learned this from Abraham. Shenemar vayakam Abraham al penei meto. Abraham rose up from Sarah that had just been deceased. V'neemar v'ekvaram matim elefanayim. And it already says that Abraham wasn't literally in front of her, but it says, I have to take away and bury my person in front of me, he told Ephron. So figuratively speaking, until the person has been buried, it's in front of you. And you don't need to do any mitzvahs of the Torah. Metu'in aval mishamro lo. Only somebody that is your close relative. But if you're just part of the Chevra Kadisha watching a dead person, so the mice and rats don't disturb him, that is not patur, exempt from the mitzvahs of the Torah. The Gemara says, "Va'atanya meshamer tamet afal pishenu meto patur." But it says even if you're just a watchman for a dead person, that the mice shouldn't eat his body. Even under such circumstances, you're absolved and exempt from the mitzvahs of the Torah. So the Gemara answers. So it says, "Afa bishenu meto patur min kriyat shema tefillah min tefillin mikol tzalmud b'Torah." Meshamro afal pishenu meto afal pinushe meshamro. So this seems that you're absolved from all the mitzvahs of the Torah, tefillin, tefillah, shema, even if it's not your close relative that you have an obligation to bury, as long as you're the watchman. Gemara answers, Meto mishamro in, aval mehalech bebet hakvarot lo. So the Gemara's answer, I retract, is Meto afal pinushe meshamro afal pinushe meto. Yes, it's true. Since it's such an important mitzvah to honor the deceased person that the rats shouldn't eat his body, you have to have 100% security and watch over him that his body is not defiled, even if it's not your relative. But the reverse is also true. Even though you're not in front of your relative, literally, but it's incumbent upon you to bury him, you are exempt from all the mitzvahs of the Torah. Gemara says, Meto mishamro'in aval mehalech bebet hakvarot lo. It's only if you're watching or you have the responsibility to bury the person. But if you're just going to the cemetery, no. Va'atanya lo yalech adam bebet hakvarot Tefillin berosho sefer Torah bezaro vekoreh. It's not right, it's against halacha to go to a cemetery when you have tefillin on, or you have a sefer Torah, a sefer with you, and you're learning there. And if you do such a thing, ve'im oseh ken over mishum loeg larash charav aso, you're making fun and poking fun at the dead people. So Gemara says, no. Hatam toch arba amat hu da'asur, chutz arba amat chayav. When is it forbidden to poke fun at the people that passed away because they don't have the golden opportunity to do mitzvot anymore? That is strictly and only when you're within 8 feet or 6 feet, 4 amot of them. But outside, if you just visit a graveyard, if you're 8 feet away, 4 amot away, you have to do all the mitzvahs of the Torah. The Amar Mar met tofes daled amot lekriyat shema chi hacha chutz edam edam mipatur. So it says that the deceased person, you cannot say Shema Yisrael within 8 feet of him because you're making fun of him. Because you're saying, oh, you can't do a mitzvah, but I can. But hacha, in our case of our Mishnah, where you're an onen, before the burial of a loved one, even if you're 20 feet away, 100,000 feet away, you still are exempt from all the mitzvahs of the Torah, and especially Shema. Gemara says, Gufa, HaMeshamer et HaMet Af Al Pi She'enu Meto Patur Mikriyat Shema Mitfilah Mitefilin Mikom Satu Torah. We're on the wide lines now. We learned previously that if you are a watchman, that rats and mice shouldn't eat and devour the body of a dead person, you are like a same as a onen. You're exempt from all the commandments of the Torah. But let's say there's two watchmen. Hayu shnayim, ze meshamer v'ze koreh. Okay, they should take shifts. One should read Shema, then one should watch. Ze meshamer v'ze koreh. The other should say Shema, then the other should watch. Ben Azai Yomer ayu ba'im b'sfina manichu b'zavit zu mitpalim shneim b'zavit acher. If they're on a boat, they could put, and they, for example, want to take the person to Israel to bury, and they have to travel over the sea, so they could put the dead person on one side of the boat, and they could go to the other side and pray. What's the difference of opinion? My benayu amar Ravina chosheshim lakbarim eka benayu ma savar chasheshin umar savar enu chasheshin. The difference is if we're worried that there's actual rats on boats. One says, even on a sailboat, we're worried that the rats may devour the guy's body, and never, they're both allowed to abandon him. At least one should watch, and then they should take turns. Some say no, once they're on the boat, they don't need to worry about rats, so both of them could daven simultaneously, pray simultaneously while they put the guy away on the other side of the boat. Tanu Rabbanan. המוליך עצמות ממקום למקום, הרי זה לא יתנו בדיסקי ויתנם על גבי חמור וירכיב עליהם. If you are transporting the bones of a deceased person, do not put them in your backpack and saddle, and then sit on the backpack and use it as a saddle. Because that is, these bones are holy. They belong to a person. You're not allowed to sit your tush on them and use them as a saddle, because it's mipnei shenoheg b'hem minhag bizayon. It's disgraceful to mistreat them like that. Ve'im haya mityareh mipnei anochrim u'pnei astim mutar. But if the reason you're doing it is to hide it so the non-Jews don't question you and don't stop you on your mission from burying the bones, then it's permitted. U'kederech she'amru b'atzamot kach amru b'sefer Torah. Same law applies for a Sefer Torah. Gemara says, Ahai, what is this talking about? Ilema areisha pshita. Migar a Sefer Torah matzamot? If it's talking about the beginning, so Gemara says, of course you're not allowed to sit and strap a Sefer Torah under the saddle and sit on it. But the chidush, the novelty here is that even a Sefer Torah, you're allowed to sit under it, on top of it, if you want to run away from the non-Jews and get to safety. Because if you don't run away, they're going to burn the Torah or either kill you, which is much more dangerous. So the Gemara goes ahead. Amar Rachav Amar Rav Yehuda Kol haroeh met ve'eino melveo over mishum lag l'rosho cheref asahu. If you see the funeral of a dead person and you don't accompany him to the cemetery, it's you're disrespecting him. But im hilvao masacharo, but if you do respect him and do take him to the cemetery, what's your reward? Amar Ravasi alav hakatuv omer malveh Hashem chonen dal mechabed chonen evion. About such a person, it's you're respecting the person that's low, and you're also respecting God, because every Jew, every person has a spark of godliness, the neshama in them, and it's a very, very big mitzvah. It says, Rabbi Chiya Rabbi Yochanan Avishaklu v'azu b'vet hakvarot Shadra Techelet Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Yochanan were walking in the cemetery. Rabbi Yochanan's blue string of sisit was coming out. Amale Rabbi Chia Dalia Kedei Shomro Lamachar Banu Etzon V'Achshav Nerchem Tanu. He said, stick in your sisit, which is, this is a halacha. Again, you're making fun because you're saying, oh, I could do sisit, you guys can't. So stick in your sisit, Rabbi Chia told Rabbi Yochanan. So tomorrow they don't come and say, oh, these guys are also going to die, but now they're antagonizing us. Amarle mi yudei kulahai? Rabbi Yochanan asked Rabbi Chia, do the dead people know so much about what's going on? It says they know nothing. Amarle im karita lo shanata, im shanita lo shalashta, im shalashta lo pirashta lecha. Rabbi Chia said, you're absolutely wrong. You haven't investigated and learned enough Torah. Which means, im karita, if you learned the Torah once, lo shinita, you didn't review it a second time. Im shinita lo shilashta, if you reviewed it a second time, you didn't review it a third time. And if you even reviewed it 3 times, you still they didn't explain to you what it means. Ki hachayim yodim sheyimetu elu sadikim. That it says the live people know they're going to die. Those are the sadikim. Shemimutatan karun chayin. Even though they're technically dead, while they're dead, they're alive. Because their legacy of godliness and spirituality makes them perpetually alive. Shenemar ubenayahu ben Yoyada ben Ishchai Rav Poalim Mekabetzel. King David's top general, the Ben Ishchai, Benayahu, even though he passed away, they call him Ben Ishchai, the son of a live person. He did a lot of good deeds, Mekabetzel, and he gathered the children of God. Hu Yekad Shnei Ariel Moab. He was the one that smited the teeth of Ariel, which is the Moabites. He went and battled against the lion. Betoch Habor, inside of the pit. B'yom HaShaleg, on a snowy day. Okay, we're going to go to the next side. Daf Chai, Yudchet Amud Bet.